Hi everyone, I'm Justin Jean-Baptiste, Everglades enthusiast, amateur wildlife photographer, and amateur python hunter. From hosting fishing trips to wetland walks, I've spent the last year exploring as much of Big Cypress in the Everglades as I can. Today, I'm incredibly excited to join someone who works truly hard to inspire me, Anthony Sleiman. Anthony is a photographer whose jaw-dropping Everglades images have left viewers captivated by the beauty in the Everglades. His work captures the spirit of the swamp in a way that's raw, real, and undeniably poetic. So today we're going to talk about Anthony's journey as a creative, his connection to the Everglades, what inspires his photography, and get some advice for anyone like me who's just getting started behind the lens. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat. Can you please tell me a little bit about yourself?
I'm originally from Venezuela. I moved to Miami 11 years ago and started doing photography around 7 years ago. I grabbed my camera for the first time and then I just head out to the Everglades and started shooting. Did it.
Why the Everglades out of all the places in Miami?
Really unique place. I always tell people that the Everglades has magic in it. Um, but I also learned that the Everglades, and there's a huge disconnection between Miami and the Everglades. Back when I was in Venezuela,
Mm-hmm.
I used to love going hiking and exploring. I used to live on top of a mountain. Once I moved here to Miami, I started asking people where to go, places to visit, I don't, just to have fun. Um, People will tell me to forget about hiking or going to nature and just go like partying or going to Miami Beach or. And then I learned about the Everglades, and everything that I heard from it is that it's a scary place with gators and panthers and crocodiles that are right there just ready to eat you and attack you, right?
Right.
So I stayed away from this place for a while, but then I started exploring it and I realized that there was magic in this place. And I learned that what people think about this place is wrong, just because there's a big disconnection between the people and and the Everglades as it is. Um, so once I visited the Everglades for the first time and I saw the magic that you could find in there, it just changed my perspective and it just drew me to the Everglades every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I actually have a similar story. I'm from Georgia. I was raised there, born here, raised there, and I used to go running in the mountains all the time.
Hmm.
And when I came here, I didn't know we like had a place to go running that wasn't, the side of the street.
Yeah.
So when I found out about the Everglades, nature here in
Hmm.
Florida, I was just as excited to visit it.
Yeah, it's a unique place.
Truly, truly. And if you're like from Florida, you usually don't go to the Everglades because of those preconceived notions that it's dangerous or
Hmm.
scary with man-eating alligators. But I think they're like the sweetest little things that
Yeah,
you can
no,
find out
I love the alligators. Every time I'm there at night, I'm like, yeah, there's a friend of mine.
there.
I think I've been going to the Everest at night so many times that I think they're like friends of mine now. I put names on them. So
Oh,
it's
I
pretty
do that too.
cool.
That's cute. Every time I leave, I'm like, "See you later, alligator."
Yeah.
What first drew to the Everglades as a subject for your photography?
So to tell you a little bit more about my story and how I connected to the Everglades. Um, so when I moved from Venezuela to Miami, I used to work a lot, like 80 hours a week,
That's crazy.
and I was going to school. I was studying here at FIU,
Hmm.
and I didn't have time for anything. And I remember at that time, I started to feel like my life was passing by really quickly,
Hmm.
and I was locked down in a room, like a dark room with no windows. And then I decided to grab a camera and go out and explore the Everest for the first time at night. And I took my camera out. I looked at the night sky and I saw millions of stars at night. And then I realized that I was not in that dark room anymore. There was a light that it was the light of the stars.
Wow.
So that's why I started exploring the Everest at night and sharing the unique perspective and the magic that the Everest has with people.
Okay, was there a specific moment or photo that made you realize that this is something that you love to do?
Oh yeah. So in 2020, we had a
Hmm.
comet that was called Neowise. It's a comet that passes through around Earth for every 6,700 years,
Oh, wow.
and it was completely visible to the naked eye.
Really?
Yeah. So the first week that the comet was passing, you were able to see it in the morning, like at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And I went out at 2 a.m. every morning, and I just found clouds for the entire week.
Oh, wow, that sucks.
Then the second week, it started to be visible after sunset.
Hmm.
I went out 3 times, clouds.
Oh my
The
god.
fourth time I went out, I saw it with the naked eye. I remember I hiked in the middle of the Everest, waist deep water,
Hmm.
because that's the composition I wanted to get. And I waited for the sun to disappear. And as soon as I looked up, there was a comet with the tail moving in the night sky was
That's beautiful.
the most incredible thing I'd seen. And then I remember looking at this comet that's passing every 6,000 years, and I looked
Hmm.
back and I had the Milky Way galaxy on the other side
Oh
reflected on the water. So
wow!
it
Oh
was
my
like a
gosh!
super incredible moment. It
Wow,
was insane.
that's like perseverance. Like going how many days? Like 8 days,
Like eight
getting
days.
clouds the first seven. What does the Everglades mean to you on a personal level?
um, well, after sharing a little bit of my story, I will tell the Everglades to me feels kind of like home now.
Hmm.
It's a place where I go and just find peace. It's a place that had taught me a lot. It taught me about patience. It taught me to be curious about things and not be afraid. It has taught me to make relationships with other people. So to me, it feels like home.
Out of all the aspects of the Everglades, the animals, the trees, the swamp, why the night sky?
The nice guys, the night has always been captivating to me. Um, just looking at a light from a star that died millions of years ago, and now
Hmm.
you're seeing it, it's like looking at the past.
Right.
So it's something incredible. And also, many people in Florida and in the United States, when you talk about Florida, they don't think about the stars. They don't think they can see the Milky Way galaxy with the naked eye here in Florida.
From the city,
From,
you can't at all.
and people think that you cannot do it in the Everglades either. And the people that think you can, they're
Hmm.
afraid to go. So I chose the stars because it's so captivating. And it's incredible to think that, for example, many of the elements that are in our bodies are found in the stars too.
Oh wow.
Like the iron in our blood, the calcium in
Hmm.
our bones. So if you think about it, like the universe looking at itself while you're shooting out in the Everglades. It's
That's
mind
deep.
blowing. It's
We're made of
something
like
incredible. Yeah,
stardust.
we're made of stardust. So when something when I do my presentations, I always
Hmm.
tell people like when you feel that when you feel sad,
Hmm.
remember you're a star. So you keep
Oh,
shining. Yeah,
I love that. I love it so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Um, and can you tell me when you started this journey and the achievements you've made up to this point, with the emphasis on the achievements?
Um, so I started this journey photographing the Everglades around 7 years ago. It was just me and my camera. Nothing. I never thought I could do. I could have a career from that. 7 years later, I had taught over 300 people in workshops.
Oh
I
wow.
have done work with several organizations. I have done exhibitions in the National Park Service and in the National Park. I've been featured by many magazines, won different awards. So
Mhm.
it's something incredible I never thought could happen. I was part of an Emmy-winning project, and I was also featured in a few documentaries talking about the night sky in Florida.
That's amazing.
So,
Truly, truly an inspiring story.
so I never thought I could be doing this.
Okay, thank you so much for that. When you started taking photos in the Everglades, did you imagine that you would reach this level? How far do you want to go with your Everglades photography?
When I started taking photos at night in the airways, I never thought I could be at the spot I am right now. You know, a lot of people told me like, where you go to the airways at night, you just go to get eaten by mosquitoes. There is
Yeah.
no money in it. There is not a career. Just start photographing weddings or go and shoot like family portraits.
Hmm.
Um, so I never thought I could be in this point of my career. Um, but right now I'm working on a project that I'm going to different places around Florida, documenting 360 degrees panoramas of the night sky.
Okay,
So
very
I'm
cool.
mapping out the Everest National Park, Big Cypress. I did some photos in the Panhandle, in the Keys. So the idea is to create a VR experience for people that are not able to go to the Everglades or they're afraid to go to the Everglades.
Yeah,
So they can put some VR goggles and just look around and they could see the night sky that they're missing right in
sounds
their
awesome.
backyard. So that's one of the projects I'm working on right
Very
now.
cool. How do you approach photographing elusive or shy wildlife in such a vast landscape?
So one rule I have when photographing wildlife
Hmm.
is the animal is reacting to you, you are too close.
That makes sense.
Even though you have a 600 millimeter, you want to stay away from it. You don't want
Hmm.
to change the animal's behavior.
Right.
So that's my approach to shooting wildlife. And even when I'm shooting at night, I always make sure
Hmm.
to know what type of wildlife is going to be in the ecosystem I'm walking around. For example, when I go out to the cypress forest at night, you might see bar owls. Um, people mostly people online, they love to go and put a flashlight on the owl and be like, hey, I found an owl, and take a picture of the owl.
Right.
But that's you're destroying their night vision. So every time you're going to the airplanes, you shoot at night, shoot animals and stuff, try to stay away and not change the animal's behavior. So if they notice you, you're too close.
What if you don't have like a camera lens that'll zoom in
Well,
well enough?
I used to have a 200 millimeter when I started.
Mhm.
And it's just finding a way to get close without the animal noticing.
Okay.
You have to be really quiet. Sometimes you have to wait for like 30 minutes or more to be able to get closer. But yeah, that's pretty much my rule. If the animal can react, is reacting to you, you're too close.
And what gear do you use for your shots? And do you have any like budget-friendly gear recommendations?
Um, so the gear I'm using right now is Sony A7R5. That's my main camera right now. I use it for all my night photographies and wildlife photography and everything. But if you're looking for something more budget friendly, Canon has some budget friendly cameras that are around 1,000 that are full frame. Nikon has some too. So you might take a look at those options too.
Okay, for sure.
For lenses, I will use Tamron to have really good lenses and they're not that expensive.
All right. And how do you balance preserving the rawness of the Everglades and editing for visual impact?
This is a big issue that everybody has when
Yeah.
it's starting. Some people like to go in and they just grab the saturation slider and be like, we want all of these colors, and it was this colorful, and this light was like this.
Yeah.
What I learned is that the simpler the better.
Mhm.
Sometimes the simplest things are gonna be the most beautiful. So, and I always try to capture what I saw.
And when you like edit videos and photos of the Milky Way, like how much do you edit those? Is that just a little bit
Yeah.
as well?
So for Milky Way photos, if you take the photo correctly, you will have enough light to play with in editing.
Right.
So mostly with what I do is just add contrast.
Okay. Very cool.
You just add contrast and then you play a little bit with the white balance to get the right color of the night sky. Because a lot of people like to do blue night skies, but the real color of the night sky is black.
Right.
So you have to play a little with the white balance to find that point where everything is balanced and it's the true color of the photo.
I'll experiment. What was it like being featured in a gallery? How did you get to that point, and how did it open new doors for you?
When you do your first solo gallery, it's like the best feeling in the world. One of my solo galleries was in the Everglades National Park. We did it for Dark Sky Month, so we wanted to show people coming to the Everglades from all over the world what the Everglades looks like at night. And it's incredible just to have people from like Italy coming to you and be like, "Hey, I follow you because I saw your photos in the national park and I love the
so
Everglades."
inspiring.
And then I had people from like China coming to me or DM me and be like, "Hey, I want to go with you." Yeah, it's incredible when you do that. And if you want to get to that point, I'd be just this practice. Go out and photograph every day. Try different styles until you find your style. Like a lot of people will be like, "Hey, you need to find your style before making it somewhere." You need to experiment a lot until you say, "Hey, this is just in style." So people will see your photos and they know that's your photo because the way you color it, the way you take it.
Right.
So like, if you want to make it to like a gallery and have a solo show, that would be my recommendation. Start shooting, find your style, and then start showing your work. Have a portfolio.
How long did it take before you reached like the point of a gallery, a solo gallery?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Really, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, I was shooting every day. I was shooting in the Everglades every day. Every second I had
That's
off,
very
I would
inspiring.
go to the Everglades, and then I started connecting with people that were in the Everglades or people that were doing shows, and they started introducing me to other people.
Okay, very cool.
So yeah.
And I'm sort of in the Everglades all the time as well. I just got a job like in the Everglades hunting pythons, so I'm always there. Be it to take pictures of the wildlife.
Take your camera with you. You don't know.
I do. Trust.
To be camera ready.
I forgot it yesterday. And
so a few years ago, I went exploring the national park, and it was when I was starting, and I was hiking a trail, and I was not camera ready. So I always have your camera ready because I walk over a boardwalk and there was an alligator eating a python.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's first time I've seen that in my life. And
that's a once in a lifetime.
The guy just, as soon as I grabbed my camera to turn it on, he left and disappeared. So I missed the shot.
No, that's so crazy.
So if you're doing python hunting, you have a lot of opportunities to capture different type of wildlife. Not only and of course you're gonna see the pythons, but you will have like opportunities. Maybe you go early in the morning, you will see a deer out in the Everglades or a bar owl. You don't know what you're gonna see, so always be camera ready.
How do you like manage photographing either on a manual or on like auto or partly auto?
So I don't use auto anymore.
Okay.
I stopped using it like 7 years ago.
That's like right
So,
when you started.
yeah, I forced myself to learn how the camera work, how to work with like how to manage the exposure, like using the
Right.
aperture, the shutter speed. I started experimenting. I would go to downtown Miami and photograph like the cyclists and try to do panning to learn how the shutter
Like the
works.
shutters? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then I would go to, you know, to the beach and play a little with the shutter speed to
Mhm.
see how the water will change if you put your shutter speed like super
Right,
slow. It will go like it would be like a smoother type of water. It would be
right.
different.
That's smart.
I started doing portraits to learn about how the aperture works.
Mhm.
You know, the wider the more. Yeah, I started using doing portraits. I started shooting portraits to learn about how the aperture
Right.
work, and then ISO. When you go at night to shoot, a lot of people are afraid to raise their ISO, but nowadays cameras can
Mhm.
handle a really high ISO. So I've been shooting 6400 for
Really?
yeah
I
12,000 ISO. It's okay.
I also noticed that like I've always been told not to do a high ISO, but when I do high ISO, I love how my photos come out, especially when it's like a little dark.
Yeah. And when you're shooting at night, you need all of the light you can get. So, and one thing
Right.
I don't do much anymore. I used to do a lot of light painting when I was out in the Everglades at night. Like you start the exposure and then you put like a light to paint the
Okay, I've
landscape.
seen
So
those.
that's how you get like detail on the trees and then the Milky Way.
Right.
Um, but then something changed that I wanted to be more. I wanted to show more how things look more natural.
Mm,
So having a light is like taking the nature out of that because there
right.
is no light at night.
So you stopped using
I
the
stopped
light.
using the light.
Okay, what advice would you give to young photographers trying to build a meaningful audience around nature or conservation content?
Uh, if you want to build an audience with conservation content and nature content, first of all, follow the leave no trace um,
Right, right.
guidelines.
Mhm.
So if you see trash, pick it up. Don't leave trash there. Don't destroy a trail. Always follow the guidelines and don't try to make stuff for views. A lot of people will grab like an alligator and be like, "Hey, I found this little guy, and he didn't found it. He took it from another pond and saved it for the video."
Mhm.
I've seen that happening.
Really?
So yeah, if you really are up for this for conservation, you really need to be as natural as possible and show how it really is. Because sometimes, yeah, you see the owl eating a crawfish or something, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes nature can be really boring. So sometimes you have to spend hours in there. So it's better to show that you're spending 10 hours to get the photo than just staging it or
Right.
using like sounds to attract the owls and stuff.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, and then just shoot every day. Just shoot. That's how you create your portfolio. That's how you create your style. Try different compositions.
So to be authentic is
Be
like what I'm
authentic.
hearing for
Yeah,
the most part.
be authentic. If you want to be
Hmm.
in conservation, you have to be authentic.
And I've been out there in the Everglades a lot as well, and sometimes I'll get like nothing for
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
And then days like yesterday, after the heavy rain, I saw like 30 or 40 wood storks in one spot, which I'd never
Mm-hmm.
seen before.
It's crazy.
And that was the one time I forgot my camera. I was so upset, bro, but it was so
You're gonna
beautiful.
hear a sad story.
Hmm.
So we haven't had flamingos in the Everest National Park in years.
Right.
So like 2 years ago, they came back and they were like in the Flamingo Bay area,
Right, right, right.
in the Florida Bay area, and I called a friend of mine where I was like, "Hey, let's go and photograph the flamingos." I did the whole thing, part
Yes,
of like 3 miles. I was like this close to the flamingos, and I had no SD card.
No,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
that's crazy.
I turned on the camera and said no SD card. Like no way. So I started looking in my backpack and everything. I didn't bring one.
That sucks. I know that hurt.
Yeah. So my friend was like, "Well, just enjoy the moment." I'm like, "You cannot enjoy the moment."
Oh, it's ruined now, bro.
So we stayed there for a couple of hours and then we
Yeah,
came back and then I tried to go back again, but the
they were
flamingos were
gone.
gone. So I was like,
It is what it
it
is.
is what it
Hey,
is.
you were there. How do you navigate social media while staying true to your passion and avoiding burnout?
Oh yeah, this is a good one. Once, so one thing that Instagram
Hmm.
makes you think is that you need to post every single day to become viral, and yeah, that works. But then there is a moment where you can get burned out really quickly. because you have to create all of the content. For example, I go to the Everest at night to create my content,
Mhm.
and I depend a lot on like the weather. I depend on the moon and different factors. So I cannot create videos every day about the Everest at night
Right.
because I don't. I sometimes I go and it's like right now it's cloudy for the entire week, so I cannot go to the Everest and film or anything at night. Um, so you can get pretty bored out. You start comparing yourself with other people. Like, hey, this guy just put this video, it has like 2 million views, and I put one, it's like 2,000.
Yeah.
It's like, so what I will say is just again be authentic. Work with what you have. If you have videos of wildlife, try to make a video, a story from it. A lot of people would just post videos of like the wildlife and to grab attention, but I see that the more authentic you are, the better. So for me, I like to do storytelling to show people what the place looks like. If I found something, or maybe inspiring them to go to the Everglades. So that's the video I try to make. If I make a video a week, that's fine. If I make a video every
Mhm.
2 weeks, that's good too.
I've noticed that like your storytelling videos are very captivating and educational, and that's the reason why they reach out to me personally.
Hmm. Thank you. Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do.
And if you could leave one lasting message through your photography, what would it be?
One last thing through my photography. Wow. Okay, that's a really deep question. Uh, I guess what I want people to see is that through my photos is that even though you're in a dark spot, there is always light. So that's why I focus a lot on the night sky. Even though if I go to like the middle of Big Cypress where you cannot see your own hands because how dark it is, you still have the light of the stars. So
It's beautiful, man.
that's the message I would like to give with my photos.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that. You guys heard it first. Okay, the last two questions. I was looking at your Instagram recently, and I saw a quote that stuck with me. You said the Everglades at night taught me not to be afraid of the dark, but to be curious. Can you please tell me and the viewers what that quote means to you?
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite quotes to say because it's something I learned through my journey in the Everglades.
Mhm.
Um, One thing I learned is that people are really disconnected to this place. They're afraid to go out and explore it at night because they are afraid of like animals like gators, snakes, or they have this idea of the panthers are out there trying to get them, and they're also afraid of the dark. And I used
I
to
think
be
that's the
afraid.
main part.
I used to be afraid of the dark too,
Right.
like really afraid of that.
I'm still afraid of the dark.
I slept with a light on until I was like a teenager, and just the idea of
Mhm.
seeing myself out in the middle of Big
That's
Cypress
insane.
with no light at all, it was crazy to me.
Dude, how far you've come.
And but you know, then that's when I learned that's when the evidence showed me you have to be curious instead of being afraid,
Hmm.
because you're afraid until you understand what's happening.
That's very true. Very true.
So I started to understand the ecosystem, how the evidence work, what type of animals were in the locations, what type of problems would I find in the locations I was going to. So I started to be more aware of my surroundings and be like, okay, so if I go to this location, I won't have signal. So I need a satellite communicator just in case of emergency. There are snakes, so maybe I should bring a snake boot.
Right.
And then I learned that wildlife is not there to get you. So if you're there at night by yourself, there's nothing to be afraid of.
People are afraid of what they don't know. So like,
People are afraid of what they don't know.
if you educate yourself on the Everglades, if you know what's out there, you
Yeah.
don't have to be afraid.
And then by being curious, I've been able to see the Milky Way thousands of times with my naked eye. I've seen 3 comets already.
Insane.
I met incredible people there at night too. So you just need to be curious. It will change your life. Not only for photography or like the Everglades, but overall.
Thank you. Some wise words to live by, with Anthony.
Yeah.
And okay, final question. Where is your favorite place to photograph in the Everglades?
Um, I'm gonna give a location, but don't go because that's my location.
I won't
Just
post it.
kidding,
No,
just
it's cut.
kidding, just
I'm
kidding.
cutting.
There are a lot of places that I love in the
Mhm.
Everglades, but there is a lake in the Everglades National Park that I have photos of the lake in the rain,
Mhm.
sunrise, sunset, with fog, at night with the Milky Way. I love that little lake. I go every single time I can. If I don't know what place to go, I always go there.
Why that lake?
It's just away from the road. Um, Not many people go there, so every time I'm there during sunset, it's just me.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, so I have that time, to think and reflect. And when I bring my wife with me, she's an adventurer, but not as adventurous as me. Like I would go and sleep on the ground in the Everglades at night, and I'm
On the ground is
fine.
crazy with all the snakes.
um, and this is a lake that when she comes with
Yeah,
me, it's just it's magical. It's
yeah.
like you hear the whole sounds of the Everglades. You don't have the road close by. You have the sun setting behind the lake. So it's just a beautiful location.
Okay, that is beautiful.
Yeah, it's magical.
Thank you for that. And thank you for doing this interview. I learned so much from
No,
you.
no. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to do this.
All right, well, there you folks have it. Finished first interview with Anthony Sleiman. And I will see you guys at the next one.